Wow, that's cool.
We are live on Facebook. Damian, it's nice to see you today. But let me tell everybody in Facebook land, it is 6 o'clock. We got a special time tonight. We know it's normally 5:30 on Tuesday, but tonight we're doing it special because we got a real special guest. We have Damian Boudreaux. All right, he's going to come in. He's him and Ali Rita. He was the coach of Ali Rita. Also wrote a book, How to Sell 100 Cars in a Month. He's a speaker. He's an author. He's a coach, a teacher, and a mentor, and a motivational speaker. I absolutely have loved getting to know him over the time. And tonight I'm going to get to bring him to you. Let me introduce, before we introduce him, I want to say thank you to QuickPage. Us in the car sales game, we are in a video age, and the only way we can get the video to our customers is through an app. And the best app in the business, and I use it, is QuickPage. So I want to thank them for being the title sponsor. So now that we're past that, let me introduce you to Damian Boudreaux. Damian, why don't you say hello to everybody in Facebook land?
Hi, everybody. How y'all doing?
Well, Damian, we met briefly through when I had Ali on a few weeks ago. And we've gotten to know each other a little bit. And you have such an amazing story that I had to have you on to be able to share all the information, all the life lessons, and all the sales techniques you have with my audience. Are you excited? Where are you at today, man?
I'm in Detroit, Michigan with Ali, and with about 30 minutes ago, about 100 salespeople from Detroit, Michigan and surrounding areas. So I'm up here doing a seminar. I have another one tomorrow, and then I fly back to Texas for a couple of days.
You're in Michigan right now, and I think Ali's in the building as well.
He is right over there. Yes, he is. He's over there, as is Bob Moore, who's the #1 promoter in the country, who chose me about 8 years ago.
Hey, everyone.
Hey, Shawn, look who's here.
Hey, all right.
Hey, everyone.
Well, we're going to have a good time tonight, man. So you just settle in. We're going to share with our audience here a little bit about your life. We're going to go behind the scenes. We're also going to talk to you a little bit about today's dealerships and the changes that maybe you think that should happen, and how the heck you sell 100 cars. What's the difference between a 20-car salesman, a 40-car salesman, and a 100-car salesman? Is it that different? But first of all, we're going to start with way back, man. We're going to find out a little bit about where you're from, all right, and your childhood. Can you tell us and fill us in a little bit about that?
Yeah, Shawn, thank you for having me. I love how brilliant both you and Chad Morgan with QuickPage is. Chad is the guy behind the guy. Really, nobody sees. He's behind the curtain, and I am so impressed with both of y'all. And I am honored that you chose me to do this. I'm from Lake Charles, Louisiana. I grew up in paradise, man. I'm blessed. I'm the oldest of 7 children. There's 9.5 years between all of us. We're close, and we're all different. And my parents are incredible, both still here. Dad had a drugstore. He ran the drugstore, and Mom was the CEO, president, and warden of a house of 7 children. And we had a great childhood. We were given the best education. We were allowed to fail. We got punished when we did something wrong, but we certainly learned right from wrong. Each one of us are successful in incredible ways. A lot because we're passionate. We have a lot of passion from our parents, and we believe in what we do. And so that's the upbringing. I went to the same school from kindergarten to 8th grade, and then high school, and didn't do so well in school. I wasn't the smart one. I was probably barely past high school. Not the smartest guy in the class for sure.
You know, that's a common theme and a common thread on this Sales Hustler Spotlight. We've had 15 shows and about 12 or 13 of us, none of us did good at school. I don't know what it is about salespeople in school, but we don't do real good at it. Why do you think that is, by the way?
Well, because they don't teach what we're good at. We're geniuses at emotional intellect. We meet people and we connect with them instantly. There's a fight that's about to break out and we can walk up to it and diffuse it with no effort at all. There is not a lot of education that teaches emotional intellect, relationships, people skills. They don't teach our natural gifts. And, you know, we don't memorize well and I don't read. So I don't think we need to any of that. You know, I never let not going to college stand in the way of me being successful, which is perfect for being in the car business because it takes a different type of intellect to be successful in this business, I believe, to be a salesman.
All right. So you grow up in, am I right, Louisiana?
Lake Charles, Louisiana.
And there's another famous person out there in sales from that area.
That's
correct?
Exactly right. Grant Cardone, Mr. Charisma. I got in the car business in 83 and he was at Mr. Collins' GMC Pontiac store and he crushed it. And there was not anybody who was selling a lot of cars back then. And I remember it was a big deal for Grant to break 30. And when he broke 30, it was a big deal in our community. People went to the downtown, or that was where the bar was. It was a hotel, but we had a big party for him. It was quite the deal to have somebody do that. And there's another famous person that people don't know about, but he worked with Grant, and his name is Mike Porter. And Mike is at the #1 Honda store in the country, and as a manager. And I don't know that Grant or I could outsell him. He's just incredible. Mike Porter is still there, and he was there with us as well.
You guys were all selling in the same town?
Yeah, we sold. They were across the river in Sulphur, and we were in Lake Charles. And you got to remember, back then in the early '80s, there was 16% unemployment. I mean, it was bad. There was a misery index. If you had a great credit, you qualified for the preferred rate of 18.95% because the buy rate was 16%. I had friends paying 32% interest for a truck, and they were grateful they could get the money. It was just a different world. Part of our success, I believe, was that we didn't know it was hard. So we just were in there working. We didn't complain because that was our reality. And so when we went off into the world, we had this work ethic. We had this ability to solve problems and be flexible and creative and resourceful in the close and meeting people and marketing to people. We didn't stay in the dealership. I mean, I went to Cameron, Louisiana probably 3 nights a week to talk to people back there in the marsh and stuff, and back back south of Louisiana, Lake Charles.
All right,
we worked.
I don't want to jump too far ahead yet. I do want to find out a little bit. Okay, so from high school to the car business, was there any time gap there? What jobs did you do? What did you do before the car business?
I only failed at about 5 jobs before the car business. And so it was really, I mean, the first job was my uncle and my godfather and my grandfather were all electricians. So I wanted to be an electrician, but they weren't hiring. So they got me a job at Gray Bar Electric driving a truck, a parts truck. And I would go to the refineries and drop off parts. Do you know that if you get in 3 wrecks in 90 days as a truck driver, they fire you? Well, I didn't know that. And then I became assistant produce manager at a grocery store. And I did that for a while. And I painted houses, and I put insulation, and I washed houses, and I did whatever I could. And I would wake up at 5 a.m. and I would go with my friend Willie King, and we would meet at the pit grill, and then we'd go pick up aluminum cans. I'd go to work painting houses or washing houses or taping and floating sheetrock. And then at 6 or 7 o'clock when I got off, I'd go back to his transmission shop. And that's when I started in the car business to change oil and to learn how to work on transmissions. I did a lot of jobs, and I just couldn't ever find anything I liked. I liked working at the transmission shop. I like that. That was fun. The smell of salt to this day.
How long did your manual jobs and your mini jobs last before you found the car business? What was the year gaps in there?
1983. So I graduated from high school in 80. I went to college for it takes 2 semesters to fail out of college. They don't let you fail out. So when you have a 0.05%, some horrible, less than 1 grade point average, they let you come back. And so I went back and I failed even worse. And so I went to college for a year, maybe a semester and a half, and it wasn't for me. And then I went off and worked on oil spills. And in 1983, Willie hired me at the transmission shop, and then he opened up a used car lot. And 3 months later, he fired me. And then I went to the Kegel Chevrolet, and I worked in the service department for 30 days, and they sold me on selling again. And I did that in Lake Charles for about a year and a half, and it was tough. I mean, there was some months where I was almost salesman of the month, and next month I was almost fired. I mean, selling 3 cars in a month, and then the next month selling 14, which was a big deal. And
was that because of the interest rates at that time and all the downturn?
Because I sucked.
Really?
Because it just didn't fit. It might have been the traffic. It might have. I can come up with every testimony of failure out there. I just wasn't good. I mean, I did whatever they told me, which didn't fit.
That's interesting. You say that. A few people on here that we've had on here so far, I'd say about 6 of them had failed out of the car business. Now, some had completely left the car business and got back in, and some just sucked and had to change dealerships. Was it because they were trying to get you to go down a certain path and it just wasn't fitting with your style?
Well, I don't know that I knew I sucked back then. I knew I worked hard. I knew it was uncomfortable. I knew I was doing whatever it took. I thought I was heroic for working 6 days a week from, bell to bell or can to can. I wanted to be successful. I really did. I come from a family. My dad has an incredible business with incredible reputation as a pharmacist. It would be nice to have like that, but I wasn't allowed to do business that way. I never even thought of doing business like that, And so for a year and a half in Louisiana, I just survived. I didn't know I wasn't successful. I knew I wanted to be. I had a desire. I had passion. I had work ethic. I was hungry. And
so you're hungry. You don't even know you're struggling at that time, but when you look back on it now, you probably see that you weren't the salesman you are today. But you were hungry. You worked a lot of hours. What was the turning point? Where was the change that you figured it out?
Oh, well, I knew that I couldn't make any money in Louisiana, so I moved to Texas. Everything's bigger in Texas. I'm going to be successful in Houston. And for 2 years, I sucked in Houston, it turned out.
All right, so we suck in 2 states now.
Dealership in the country, the Chevy store in the country. And, there was months where I really got to 16 or 18 cars. And then, the next month I sold 10, and thank God they were all mini deals or I'd have made money, it's like, and after about 3.5 years in the business, I knew this wasn't for me. I knew it didn't fit. I wasn't proud. I wasn't excited to go to work. I mean, I was working till 10 or 11 o'clock at night. I was getting there at 8 o'clock in the morning, going to the sales meeting where they ate our ass out for, everything. And I just wanted more. And so I tried to quit, and my manager really believed in me more than I believed in myself. I mean, he wouldn't let me quit. He told me I needed to take a break. And so I went back to Louisiana for a vacation, for a break. And it was right after Thanksgiving. And I went into my dad's drugstore. I started working there when I was 6 years old. And my whole life, I watched my dad and my Uncle Jerry. They loved people, Shawn. I mean, if you couldn't afford your medicine, it was free. They weren't there to sell drugs. They were there to heal and help and serve. And I saw this and I went, oh, that's me. That's me. And they didn't use word tracks or closes, or they talked from their heart. And I saw the same people come in that drugstore that came into that drugstore when I was a little boy. Everything was relationships. Everything. The number of people that would come in there, Shawn, and wouldn't buy anything. They would just go in the back room and they would drink coffee or split a Dr. Pepper. And I'm watching this and I'm going, nobody comes visit me at the dealership. Nobody comes talk about the LSU football game on Saturday morning. I made sure of it, because the way you get successful is you wait on apps. The way you get successful is you get to the phone before everybody else did. The way you get successful is you learn how to close. You learn how to master objections. You learn how to do a walk around. That's what I was taught, but that's not what my dad did. And my grandfather didn't do it that way either. And so I'm looking at this juxtaposition of, here's how I was brought up. Here's who I've become. 1 degree at a time, I changed who I was. Even though things didn't feel right inside of me, I did them anyway, because that's what the manager said to do. And so I did it the way the dealer business plan is designed to get salespeople to do. And if you just do it the way the dealer says to do it, you'll be like salespeople all over the country, because you are trained to sell 10. If you can just get to 10, because that's their business plan. 10 cars, 10 salesmen, sell 100 cars. 20 salesmen, 10 cars, 200 cars. I honored the dealer. I honor the general manager. They've got to have a scalable business model that works for them, but it doesn't work for salespeople. It traps us. 7 out of 10 salespeople will fail. 7 out of 10. 71.9, I think Jason Gardner posted that number. 71.9% of salespeople who get in this business fail. And then the rest of them jump from dealership to dealership to dealership, praying that the grass is greener, they got a shinier shovel, a better brand. Please let this fit my soul. And it still doesn't. And that's because the dealer business plan works when you just get in, but you don't evolve it at all. And so all I teach, and I'm not for everybody. I teach how to evolve your business into meaningful relationships, because it's not what you know and it's not who you know. It's who knows you. That's what I want. I want everybody who knows me to come in. I moved my business from saying, welcome to the dealership, to going, Tijon, come over here and give your boy a hug. What you doing over here in Houston? And you move from this whole idea of waiting on people who don't know you or like you or trust you, because that's what it takes. You got to sell people on liking you, trusting you, believing in you, your product, your dealership, and then 20% buy. And that's crazy. That's nuts. So I switched my business to only wait on people who knew me. I was one of those freaks who hated waiting on and up. And so I waited on people who knew me. They came in, gave me a hug, brought me food from Louisiana, and we talked. They didn't have to buy. And 8 out of 10, 9 out of 10 buy. It's more than repeat and referrals. It's the relationships of your whole life. And that's the difference in what I teach. I don't teach transactional. I teach relationship. And so,
it's so deep there. It's so deep, and it's so opposite of the way we have been trained to believe and trained to think. Hustle, get the next up, don't stop, grind on the phones, do all the things that we do on a daily basis, and that brings sales, right?
It's the end of the month that counts, Shawn. It's the end of the month. That's bullshit.
Right.
It's the next soul you connect with. It's the next person you hug. It's the next person you help solve their problem or help them get their dream that they've been wanting their whole life. It's not the end of the month. It is the next human, the fellow earthling that you meet. Your job is to stop time, is to love them. Now, if you write anything down, love. Just when you go to work tomorrow, meet somebody and just love them with no attachment to closing anything. They'll feel it. It makes the process, it makes everything so smooth, because they feel that there's no resistance, and they just go, oh, well, wow, this felt different. This felt different. And that's what I teach.
All right. So before you became a teacher, how long did you stay in sales in Houston, Texas, using this new business model that you had?
Oh, I stayed in for a while. I had a daughter who was critically disabled. So working in a dealership was tough because if she went in the hospital, I left and I had to work. So the conversion van business became a way that I could retail and sell and be in the business. The great thing about this business is there's so many different places to be successful in this business. There's so many different options. So I'm in the conversion van business, and I'm teaching people how to do walkarounds. I'm working with customers on Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. It was a different world. We had conversion vans, and customers would come in, and the salespeople would all bring the customer to me. I would ask them questions to get the picture, discover what we call PP. You heard them talk about the PP. Talk to discover the problem or the possibility. I would help them land on a vehicle. I would teach the salesperson how to do a walk around, and then they would get it or not get it. But I would do that 30, 40 times in a day for salespeople. And I did that for years. I did that probably for 11 years, probably from 1991 to 2001. Is I was in that industry that was selling from a vendor perspective, but I was the retail specialist in the dealership. And I loved it. And I learned how to do walkarounds better than everybody else. And because I did so many of them every day. I waited on so many customers every day.
Well, your philosophy might be different in the car business, but it shouldn't be different in life. Okay. This is, if you build relationships, and all you Facebook people that are watching this, you're building your brand, you're building yourself in Facebook, in social media to get customers. It's all about relationships in social media as well. Somebody comments, you comment back to them, you build a relationship, you have them on a show like this. They in turn do the show and spread the word. That's what life is about. Yeah. All right. It's no different, but we are taught to do it differently than that because the dealership itself wants you to sell 10 cars a month, as he says.
Yeah.
So what became your inspiration to help salespeople? When did you do that transfer into, okay, I need to share myself with many other people and share my gift and what I have with other salespeople?
Well, I lucked out. I had a friend of mine who was a used car guy, and I went to their store. And he said, would you tell my salespeople how you do it? And that was the first time I was ever on a chalkboard saying, this is my philosophy and this is my style. And, this is how children sell their parents. So maybe it works for you too. And the owner of the store, I worked for the owner of the store in the van business. And he said, who taught you how to teach? And I don't know how to teach. I'm just telling him what I did. And he had me teach all his dealerships. And it was just that philosophy. And then at one point I was teaching and I was working with service a lot. Blue Oval was there, and I'm a service guy. I mean, I come from service. I believe in taking care of customers when they come in the back end. And there was this company called Traver Technologies, which taught telephone. And they had a computer system, and they were coming and trying to get the dealer to use the computer system and teach the word tracks and how to do the BDC and all that stuff. And they're using a computer system. I said, what? Why are you making salespeople do that computer system? The computer system is for salespeople. It is a gold mine at helping them overcome the things they suck at, which is organization and handwriting and time management and everything that technology is capable of doing for a salesperson. And that got me back into my business. It was called Relationship Technologies, where basically I worked with technology companies to teach the relationship style of not just putting the customer in, but maintaining the relationship meaningfully with that customer and that salesperson. And I always said it's the salesperson's business. It's not the dealer. The dealer takes credit. The dealer thinks they own the customer, but I'm the one who gave them the hug. And if I transition it to meaningful, they can take credit for, whatever they want or have whatever rules they want. That is my friend. I go to Ruth Chris and they see me, they're buying my steak, guaranteed. They see me out at the grocery store. They're going to sit there and we're going to talk at the grocery store just like we talk at the dealership. It changes nothing because we're more than just this, you bought a car from me. It started there. but it goes much deeper.
I'll tell you, that takes a certain type of person.
Yes.
Damian. Not everybody has the ability to want to talk to strangers or make friends with everybody. I've noticed that about people. And have you noticed that as well? It takes a certain type of person.
Yeah. And that's why I don't sell to dealerships. That's why my product isn't one where I go call a dealer and say, buy my product, make your salespeople watch these training videos. It'll change their life. No, they don't want to watch those videos. They don't want to do that. They don't want to take the test. They want to learn what they want to learn. So I'm so lucky. Everybody who I work with chooses me. Not the dealer told them to get me. Not the manager says you have to be in Boudreaux's program. They say, Boudreaux, we want to be in your program, and they can fire me anytime they want. It is theirs. Remember this. People protect what they create. If I can get you, Shawn, to build your own business that's yours, nobody can take it from you. Nobody can mess with you. And you'll grow. Listen, the longer you sell, the more you should sell. You shouldn't be in the business 5 years still selling the same amount of cars as you sold in 3 years. And at 10 years, you should exponentially have grown your business every month, because now you have the lifelong connection. If you're not doing that, you're not in the relationship business. You're in the transactional business. And there's this thing. You got the transactional side and the relationship side. And there's this wall in between it. We'll say it's a brick wall. 99% of the salespeople live on this side of this brick wall. And there's no door. It's not even a real brick wall. It's made of paper. You can walk right through it. All it takes is loving people and creating that relationship that's deeper than get another one or make all the money on them or crush them. You have to be in integrity. You have to know who you are at your best so that you can have the intentionality of doing your business in a way that works for you, your customer, and authentic. Look, salespeople want to be real. We teach them how not to be real. We teach them how to say things. You ever heard this? That guy sound like a car salesman.
Yeah.
We a bunch of parrots. We don't even talk from here. We talk like the person on the video. That is not us. You didn't sound like that in high school. You didn't sound that on your first date with your girlfriend. You don't use word tracks anywhere else on the planet except to get an outcome that works best for your dealership. But it doesn't work best for you in the long run. Short term, absolutely, go for it. If you're here's the negative. It's not a business model where you brag about crushing it or ripping somebody's head off and throwing up down their neck. It's not the one where you can say, I got a 10-pounder today. It's not the one where you flex your muscles and say, like that. Everyone in my high achievers, to the last one, is kind and compassionate and peaceful. They manage to know how to slow down time to where they have urgency and they're fully present with that human being. They are, I use the word, they're sweet. I mean, they're genuine. You look at Ali. Everything I just said, he's not the picture of what everybody says it takes to get to 30 cars. Might be to get to 30 cars. But look how many people aren't there. And I would say, based on people I know, salespeople, from their perspective of their heart, will do more for somebody else than they'll do for themselves. They are genuinely thoughtful and caring. And the business model we've developed for them does not match their true soul. And if it did, they'd be happier, they'd be prouder, and they'd be more profitable.
I have noticed when you said that the peaceful nature that you have, Ali has, and the dynamic that takes to have that approach of relationships only, okay? Because I can see myself sitting at my desk, okay? And I have a guy in front of me who wants to come in and have coffee with me, and we chat, and 15 minutes go by, half hour goes by, an hour goes by, and all I'm thinking in the back of my head, now this is me just being honest with you, okay? Yeah. I'm thinking, I'm not making any money right now. Now, that obviously is not the right way to think, but that is the way we think. That is the way we're thinking. And what you're saying is we shouldn't be thinking that way, because building the relationship with all these people is going to bring the long-term gain in.
Well, let's start off and let's talk about honesty. So within your nature, early in this transaction or this visit, you had an honest feeling of this is taking too long. And you didn't say anything. You didn't speak your truth. You didn't say to the person, all right, look, I got to get back to work, man. I can talk to you all damn day. Let's go have a cold beer sometime. We'll finish it up. But you didn't speak your truth. You didn't say, I gotta go. I got things I gotta accomplish. And that's another thing. We have to know our business in a way that we set boundaries for our productivity and our time. I want people to come say hi to me. I have to be honest with them if I don't have the time. I have to be transparent, and they're not going to be offended because they're my friend. Oh, boo, man. I get it, bro. I'm so sorry. I said, man, you come anytime. I want to visit with you, especially after last night's football game. Dude, what a game. I could talk to you about that, for another 30 minutes about every play. I got to get to work.
I guarantee you that accent right there will get you 10 cars a month right there all by itself.
I jump in and out of accent. Oh, I'm telling you, it is the greatest gift in the world. Being from Louisiana, my mama doesn't like this accent. She would get mad at us if we'd say dis or dat or dim. And so out when we were playing with our friends in the marsh and and we playing on the lake, that's what we did. We talk like that. I jump in and out of accent. I don't think about it at all.
My light went out, so I'm going to ask you a question here, and I'm going to let you answer it. Okay. In dealerships today,
yeah,
what do you see that frustrates you the most?
I would say the thing that frustrates me the most is that salespeople aren't speaking up for what is their truth, what they want. We are compliant, and we let people tell us things to do, and inside of our heart we go, I don't feel right. Why would I say that? And then we're not flexible, creative, and resourceful enough to find a way to get the outcome we want in a way that we can say it that works for our heart and the way that works for the way we were brought up, right? I would say that salespeople, I'll tell you something else. There are all kinds of great teachers out there. My voice coach is Roger Love. I learned more about closing because of going up octave or down octave or keeping it the same note and how it affects the way this customer's subconscious mind feels from Roger Love, the number one voice coach in the world, than I have anybody else. My personal coach is my high performance coach is Brendan Bouchard. I've been working with Brendan for 6 years now. Brendan is incredible at getting the best out of me. And when I watch him on stage, he improves every time. So I watch him and I go, oh, man. But we're not learning from those guys. We don't learn from Tony Robbins. We don't study outside of this little genre that helps us sell a car. So we listen to the same incestuous shit from everybody who's puking the same stuff. And don't get me wrong, there's genius in Grant Cardone. He's charismatic. He's creative. He hasn't changed a bit. He is authentically who he is from the day I met him in the 70s. He is not being fake. And he believes if you follow him, you too will walk through that wall that is there. And it's real. But he'll convince you can lift a building. He's great. If you need to be convinced you can lift a building. But there are other people you need to find. Norman Vincent Peale, Dr. Robert Schuller, Les Brown. You got to be hungry. Great people. Darren Harden. Bo Eason, who teaches how to be your story. Salespeople need to have their story. They need to story sell. But we're not learning from any of those people because we're trapped into this little world of the dealer said I'm supposed to learn from them. Salespeople, quit learning from who they're telling you to sell. Learn from. Taste everything. It's a buffet. You go through the buffet line, you don't eat everything. Taste this. Oh, that's not good. I ain't eating that again. Taste this. That's good shit. I'm eating that every time. I want to taste that. That's good. I'm going to load my plate up with that guy because that girl right there, she teaches good stuff. You know, you got Shalene Johnson who can help you have a body that is 10 feet tall and invisible, you know, and we're trapped in learning from this select group of 20 people. And there's more out there, salespeople. Dealership don't have to do it. Go to YouTube. Go to the library. I'm a tightwad. I watched Les Brown and Tony Robbins and all those things because I went to the public library and says, do you have Tony Robbins, The Edge? Back then it was CDs or VCRs. And oh, no, we can't have that. That's too expensive. Nobody's requesting that. And I would have 6 of my friends go to the library and request it. Next thing you know, they had it.
I agree with you 100% on that. Some people, they tell me all the time, you know, I watch this person and this is who I train with. I'm like, do you understand that when I get up in the morning, every morning, I have about 9 people on my YouTube channels. Yeah. That's 9 different people. One day I might feel like this. The next day I might feel like this. I love me some Les Brown. Don't get me wrong. I love him. Some days maybe I need, you know, Zig Ziglar.
Or Deepak Chopra.
Another day I might need somebody else. So you got, like you said, eat it like it's a buffet, man. Not one person. It would get boring if you ate the same food every day.
So that's right? What we do.
And everybody has something to bring to the table. So I really like that you said that. What is the difference, the biggest difference between a 20-car salesman and a 100-car salesman?
Well, let's take it in chunks. So let me explain it this way. You don't climb Mount Everest on the first day. You start off at the bottom and you go to a base camp. And in that base camp, your bones feel like they're going to break and your blood doesn't work right and you can't hold food down in your chest. You know, your chest burns. But after 2 days at base camp, you figure out how to live at that base camp. So you have to get a new mindset, a new process, a new way of acclimating your body. And then you set another goal to go to the next base camp. Well, so where people are now at 10 or 8 or 14 cars, there is a new base camp. There is a new next level. It's going to take a shift in your mindset first. It's going to take a shift in you looking in the mirror. When I got successful, it wasn't about the manager. It wasn't about the inventory. It's just the fact that, look, I'm okay with me. Just be me. You might not like me. I don't care if you don't like me. I got to like me. And here in our industry, we're sold on the fact that you got to sell a customer on liking you. How you do that if you don't like you? How you do that if your mirror is angry at you in the morning and you're saying, yeah, I'm dumb. I'm in the wrong business. Nobody buys. Everybody's got bad credit. Everything's a mini deal. The office is stealing from me. F and I took my gross on that last deal. Thank God that somebody else is getting all the house deals. And we get all this bullshit wrapped up. And it's not about anything. Being successful in this business is about 2 things. Get good at being you, love and care for other people. The difference between 10 and 20 is you better at being you, and you're loving more people. 20 to 40, same thing. Now your process changes, your mindset changes, and you have to get acclimated because your bones don't feel right anymore. And you have to prioritize your time because your time doesn't. And this road to the sale, this 12-step to the sale, the 10 commandments, it's bullshit. Nobody remembers it. So you have to find a way that works for your customer and you and is 100% in integrity. At 40 cars a month, when at 3 years in the business, you should start to shift your business from transactional to 100% relationship. If you've sold somebody 4 cars, they don't need a damn demo ride. It's not going to increase your closing ratio. It's not going to improve the gross. It's a waste of time, and they're going to buy from you 9 out of 10 times. So why do stuff that's ridiculous? Because some guru back in the 70s says, here's the process. You have to find a way to do this. But now when you're first starting in this business, you follow the steps. The steps are great. You have to learn them. I teach 3 steps. Those 3 steps are the foundation for everything children do to you to get you to buy the McDonald's McNuggets that you didn't want to buy 2 minutes ago. Their abilities to sell is incredible. Their urgency to get you to make a decision that you had no plan of is brilliant. The fact that they got 100 friends and no enemies, there's something we can learn from. How do they do that? So we teach based on how do children, look, there's nothing natural about the car business. There's everything natural about connection and serving and influence and productivity. And so why don't we just go to the core and get past all the tactics and the theory? Here's the difference. The difference between somebody who sells 20 and 50 or 40 is that salespeople are taught theory and tactics. What 40 car people have done is they have transformed the way they think. What 70 car people do is it's transcendent. They give their customers all the credit for it. Remember what happened? 1582 happens. Who did Ali thank? Did he brag or did he thank his people? Did he thank his community? Did he say, I couldn't have done this. I couldn't have, this is y'all. This is all you. He thanks Myrna. He thanks Sam. He thanks Scott Montgomery. He says, yeah, I'm nothing without you. Ali is just a simple person who loves people and loves himself. Is very safe in his own skin. He doesn't have to be proving anything. He doesn't have to flex his muscles and be significant. He just is okay with being him. Same with David Said and Gustavo. Gustavo's 2 years in the business, sells 40, 45 cars a month. 70% relationships. Just first week in the business, he screwed up and came to one of my seminars. And he said, I have all these friends. I have all these friends. Why don't I connect with them? Our industry says, get out there and get an up. And that blinds a salesperson to the natural connection they already have with the kid they went to elementary school from 4th grade that they played football with that was the quarterback and they were the wide receiver. What's wrong with that person coming and having a cup of coffee every now and again without buying?
That's great. I love it, man. I get fixated just watching you, man. I love it. You're very good at, you're very dynamic. I like it. Do me one favor here. Yeah. I want to know what you would tell. By the way, everybody out there, we have a whole bunch of people in here. We have over 100 people in here. Hit share real quick right now. Let's blow this roof off here real quick. All right. I'm going to go into my relationship selling right now and ask for some shares right now. All right. But I want to ask green peas in a dealership. Yeah. All right. Or somebody new that goes like me, who's transferred to another dealership. Yeah. What would be your biggest advice you would give those people?
Yeah. Let's talk about the person. First 90 days, they close everybody. Yes.
Yeah.
They sell everybody. They knock the cover off the ball. Right. Absolutely. And then after 90 days, they can't close the screen door. And they say, oh, he got smart. Yeah. He got his dealer's license. Right. He learned how to read a bureau. And then he falls in line with everybody else at the dealership who's trapped, stuck between 8 and 16, struggling, not proud of what they do. And everybody says they got their dealer's license. They got smart. But nobody asked the right question. Nobody says, they says, wait, stop. What is the similarities between the new person who you can put what they know in a thimble and Ali who sells 100? What is the similarities? What are the qualities and characteristics and values of a new person versus the person who's been in the business a long time and it comes easy? Here's the deal. Number one, the first thing is new people believe everyone is going to buy. It doesn't matter if they have bad credit, if they're upside down, if they have no money, if all the buyers aren't here, if you don't have it in stock, they don't care. They believe that those people showed up and they got lucky that they got to meet them. They're excited. So they have this expressiveness, this desire. They're ambitious. They're aspirational. Oh my God, I could make 100,000. This is like a new career. I want to be successful. They're not controlled by the environment. They don't know the manager sucks. They don't know F&I can't get shit approved. They don't know that the inventory, when they have an anniversary edition, it means that it's been in inventory for 365 days. They don't know that. What they know is that that's a brand new vehicle and the manager loves them, and F&I is the greatest department in the whole world, and they are blessed to be here, and they approach it from that angle. Ali believes everybody's going to buy. And he's creative, flexible, and resourceful in helping find the way to help him do that. He's not controlled by his environment. 40-car people, they control the world. Managers know better than to mess with me. The owner is, I'm the prize pig. I used to say, I'm the prize pig. The owner is taking credit for my 50 cars a month. They think, they say, I got Boudreaux, he sells 50. He's my boy, you know, and I got the tickets to the Michael Jackson concert and I'm on the front row. You know, we get all the best tickets. But what we have is, we believe, salespeople who've been doing this a long time, they believe. They're ambitious. And they're aspirational because they've already got it, so they know it's possible. So they're not trapped in the lack and scarcity mode of a dealership. They're not controlled by the environment. They believe everybody's going to buy. And they not only believe, but they find a way to help them buy. But nobody looks at it that way. We just look at the trap, the people in the middle. Salespeople who are new, stay believing. This is a gold mine. This is a business that you can build a legacy that you can pass on to your children if you do it right. You have got to know that there are so many stories of the person who got in, who've never flown on a plane, that now own a jet, that wanted a boat and now have a yacht. That there are people who got in, my friend in Dallas, he got in to be a parts truck driver. He's service director of 16 dealerships. These are people who are just regular folks, nothing fancy. And my friend in the Valley, he was a mechanic and a salesperson for motorcycles. And now he's one of the top general managers for Penske, and he's just a backwoods, simple motorcycle riding guy. And there's so many stories of women and men whose dreams have not only come true, but have transcended anything they could ever imagine, simply because they screwed up one day and they said, welcome to the dealership. How can I help you?
All right. So your biggest advice to Greenpeace or something like that is to know that, to stay young in the business and to know that this can be a legacy that you can leave for your family. You can prosper in this business. Just stay young, stay fresh. Don't buy into all the stereotypes. So what would you?
Here's the thing. The business of your business, new people, is people. The key is to not just build the relationship, but to maintain that relationship and make it meaningful forever. Whether they buy from you or don't buy from you, whether they come to meet you and they get somewhere else, you tell them, I told you when you came here and you bought from the other Lexus store that if you come back and see me, I will take care of you in service. You don't have to buy my vehicle. I will take care of you in my service department because it's the best in the world. And I told you that when I was selling it to you. Why would I not want you to come back to my Lexus dealership and help you get it? And so, yeah, that's what I would tell them.
All right. So now I want to ask the same question, but I want to change the salesperson, Green P, into a manager. We have a lot of managers that watch this, a lot of GMs, a lot of GSMs. What advice would you give them in the car business?
I don't know. I sucked at management.
But if you could give them any advice, what would you give them?
You want me as a salesperson to take excellent care of my customers and not drop the ball. Don't do that to me. Treat me. I'm your best customer. I'm trying to do the best I can. And you yelling at me, and I don't know how they do that, Shawn. I don't know how they hug their wife. They got the best little kids in the world. And on the way to work, somehow or another, they manage to get pissed off. I mean, do they take a little pill? I got to take a pissed off. Oh, I'm extra happy today. I need 2 pills. And then they get there and they're pissed off. It's like they think that, look, managers, The teaching stops when the yelling starts. Unconsciously, my conscious mind does not want to be wrong. And I defend myself. As soon as you start yelling, I have to say, I can't hear you. You're making me wrong. I don't mind being mistaken, but that's not what you're saying. You're saying, and you're degrading me. And I'm saying, look, and the greatest managers in the world, they don't do that. John Gruden, that's John Gruden's quote, by the way. When the yelling starts, the teaching stops. That's so true. Unconsciously, psychologically, they have to protect themselves because the unconscious mind has to protect itself and put itself in survival mode. I don't want this. I have to not hear. So they don't hear you, managers.
It's so true. Absolutely. If I would have raised my son the way my father raised me, my son probably wouldn't have turned out to be the person he was, because so many times we become a product of who raises us. My father was a stern, yell at you. Well, why do you do it that way? Because I told you to. All right. I believe that I believe exactly what you're saying. I rebelled against that more than I listened to him. And when I had Dalton, when I was raising Dalton, I said the exact opposite. I would teach him. I would tell him. I would talk to him. I would sit him down like a man and explain to him why we should do that. Ask his thoughts. And I believe management, if I could tell you anything, to piggyback off of what he just said here, if you can teach, show, explain, but be stern and be more of a father figure and a teacher to these people, you will get so much work out of these people. I will run through a wall for somebody, okay, who leads me. But if you yell at me and you scream at me and you demean me and you teach me, you don't want to teach, all you want to do is teach by screaming, you lose half your class. Yeah. And I thank you for telling us that today.
One other thing about managers, they've got it rough. I mean, they've got a rough job. They're managing chaos. They're also, their mentality is task-driven, results-oriented. And so they're not about emotional intellect. They got too much to do. And so they don't have time to think about all those soft, fluffy things. And then they're told by people that your job is to sell cars. Manager's job is not to sell cars. It's to put me in a position to sell cars. That they don't teach managers how to teach. They don't teach managers how to train. Managers are doing the best they can with what they've been taught to do. That's why I wrote this book the way I wrote it. It's a training manual, designed that managers can just flow through that thing. But the goal of managers is to find a different way, and everybody's different. Every salesperson is different. When you yelled at me at 9 o'clock in the morning, I was a whiny little girl and I was done. I'm going home. He don't like me. And then I might come back after noon and buy him a coffee to make sure I mend the relationship back, because I'm all about the relationship.
All right. So where does your inspiration take you in the future, Damian? I mean, you're an author, you're a speaker, you're a teacher, a coach. You obviously are a world traveler. You do a great job at this. Where's your inspiration take you in the future?
Teaching people who they are at their best. If I can introduce you to who you are at your best, and I can show you ways that you can take those steps every day and just be your best self, happy, fulfilled, and all the things that are about you, then life will never be the same. If you know that it's okay to just be you, which was tough on me. I didn't always believe in me. I mean, I had doubt and scarcity and lack, and I had great role models. But we have this unworthiness about us, this not deserving. 30 cars a month doesn't happen on the board first. It happens in our heart first. It happens in our intellect, and then it's without effort. But it's a mindset first, and then 40 cars is the same thing. And it's really not about numbers. It's about number of people you have a relationship with. I want people to love and believe in themselves. That's my mission, to influence, educate, and inspire people to love and believe in themselves so they can have a life that is incredible, a business that they can be proud of, a family they can brag about. I think if we stepped into that and you only sold 20 cars a month, or 15 cars a month, and you had that in your heart, you'd be proud. And that's plenty.
Well, I'm telling you what, I'm proud that you were on here tonight. I really am.
I'm grateful you invited me.
It really was. It was a pleasure to get to know you. You know, I love these spotlights because I get to know people. I really, really do. I mean, and not only do I get to know them, but we get to share them. A lot of these stories, these 15 stories that I've had, I call it each one of these episodes a story because we get to take you from childhood all the way to where you are today and what inspires your future. And it allows the whole auto community to see a part of you. And I love that. I absolutely love it. But I'm a history guy. I like biographies. I like this kind of stuff. But there's one question that's going to throw you off track here a little bit. I want to know what type of music that you listen to, what inspires you. If we had 3 albums, and you were on a ship and we crashed that ship and we had a CD player and we wanted to play it, what 3 albums of your liking would you want to have with us?
Let's break it into genres. So if it was in rock, it's Metallica and
get out of here. Metallica?
Yeah, if
Damian
storytelling
from Lake Charles, Louisiana, listen to Metallica.
Then the second group would be storytellers. So you take somebody like David Wilcox from Asheville, North Carolina, where he can take a moment in time about an old rusty car or a burgundy heart-shaped medallion or a boob job, and he takes that one little subject and he wraps it into 3 minutes of philosophy that you go, damn, that's great. Or Johnny Clegg, who was South African, who was around the apartheid, where you just listen to it and it's about blue skies in the heart of death. And how do you have that? And then, of course, if you want something new, I love Imagine Dragons, and I play it in my seminar like Verge and Imagine Dragons and We Are Free from Braveheart. I mean, I love Imagine Dragons. I think I've turned that on and I feel the notes flowing through my veins. Yeah.
Who would have ever guessed it? Mr. Boudreaux listens to Metallica and Imagine Dragons. I like it. Well, I want to thank you today for coming on. I want to also thank you for spending some time with us in the auto community. Give us just an amazing hour. That really was an amazing hour of my life. I appreciate it. I thank you. I want you to go ahead and tell everybody how to get a hold of you. Plug your stuff, man. We got to get people out there to know more about you.
Not a lot to plug. I got this book, which I wrote with my dear friend Ali, How to Sell 100 Cars a Month. It's a free download, howtosell100cars.com, or you can buy the book. I got this book. I wrote this book a long time ago. Ali had a copy of the manuscript probably 2 years before it was published, but this is the recipe book. In it, I talk about get good at being you and love and care for other people. And then I have one product that is just for high achieving salespeople or people who have a desire for it. It's with Ali and myself. And we have webcast where we teach, I coach. I have my own online training course that they choose to be a part of. And it's a small group of people. And if you want to join that, you can go to autotrainingacademy.com and look into information from that. It's got 100% money back guarantee. Everything does for 30 days. If you don't like it for any reason, send it back or just cancel it and I'll give you your money back. In the coaching program, the online program, anytime you want out, you cancel. Anytime I'm not doing a good job, fire my ass. And that's the only products I have. I mean, I do live seminar. Bob Moore, if you want Bob Moore to come to your market and promote a seminar so that I can come to your marketplace, Bob Moore is the #1 promoter in the history of the car business. He did Jackie Cooper first, and he did them all over the country. And he had promoters going around to dealerships. Then he did this guy from Lake Charles named Grant Cardone. Probably did Grant for, how long, Bob, 12 years? 15 years, Grant Cardone. And Bob was the guy who would come to your store and do a sales meeting. And if you wanted to go, you said yes. If you didn't want to go, you said no. And then he chose this backwoods idiot from Lake Charles, me. And now I teach relationships. And I am so grateful for Bob because he lets me teach and he gets out of my way. And that's the only things I have. And I really not trying to be everything to everybody. I'm not trying to catch all the rain. I'm just trying to help the people who decide I want to try you. And I'm happy to prove myself. And if I don't, fire me.
Well, I thank you. Did you have a good time tonight?
I did. I knew I would, though. You're a genius, man. You're great. You and Chad both at QuickPage.
Well, I appreciate it. Thank you very much. Everybody, we got some big guests coming. I want to thank you for tuning in tonight. I want to thank Damian for tuning in. I want to thank him for sharing his story. And if you don't know who he is, get in contact with him. Connect with him on Facebook. He's a great guy. He's a really giving nature. And what you saw today is the real true him. I want to thank also QuickPage for doing all they do, for helping us out in the auto community. Remember, if you need to send video, oh, that's my wife. If you need to send video, use QuickPage, the best video app in the business. Thank you very much, guys, and we'll see you next week at our regular time, 5:30 instead of 6. Say goodbye, Damian.
Bye, everybody. I love you. Have a great do good in the car business. Love your customers.
Where's Ali? Ali, you still there?
Ali, come on. He's right here. He's right here.
Come on in, man. You got to say goodbye to everybody. There he is.
Hey, everyone. Hey, everyone. Awesome show, Shawn. Thank you so much.
All right. See you, Ali. See you, Damian. I appreciate it. I love you both, and we'll see you again.
Great
See you,
job.
bud.
Yep.